Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a perk that a lot of people have been asking me about, and that is the amped perk. For whatever reason, people are under the assumption that something was changed. So we're going to go ahead and walk through some basic testing and tell you whether or not if amped is still worth it. If you enjoyed the video, learned something new, please do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're brand new and want to find your way back, double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. With this particular perk, I don't think anyone did really formal testing besides Exclusive Ace. That was really the only video I could find on this one, and I'm going to show you the specific example that I'm talking about. So Exclusive Ace actually did this video here, where when I go in here, he talks about the different weapon swap speeds. He talks about without amped, with amped. He talks about the raise time, the lower time, as well as the total of the 3 plates included. And then he talks about the difference in change. So depending on the weapon, they had drastically different raise and lower times, and they were benefited differently. It wasn't like just a flat 10% improvement or a 14%. And then the stoner was actually bugged at the time that he did this video about 4 months ago. I guess it was bugged. I didn't even notice this. I wasn't really a big time user of the stoner. Obviously it was floor loot. But it had a 17, like a 1 frame lower time. It would just immediately drop down. And even in the gameplay, it looks really strange. When you do a weapon swap, it just instantly swaps, and you can see it just immediately just disappears off the screen and then swaps over to the plates, so you can go ahead and start the plating animation. So it was bugged for a while. That was actually fixed. What I did is I looked at these specific weapons that he tested in his video, and I said, you know what, let me go ahead and compare what those weapons are today. So the FFAR, the MAC-10, Car 98, and Stoner, and see how much they differ. And if it matters, if like, let's say you're switching from an FFAR to the MAC-10, does it impact the raise and lower times as well? So you can kind of have a better idea on how you want to go ahead and plate and those types of things, if they're going to be even factors into the equation. If we go ahead and look at this, pretty much what I did for the testing is I lined this up specifically on the frame where the gun has crosshairs. You can see the crosshairs disappear on that frame right here in the center of the screen, and that's where the animation starts to plate. You could also see that on the left, I've started the plate animation where this circle becomes full from holding the triangle button. Then it starts to lower the weapon. And right on this frame is when it switches over to the armor. So that gives you kind of an idea of that. And then the plating goes from plating back to the weapon. So that is the start of the weapon up raise time. And then when it actually comes back, it comes up quick. But what you'll notice is the hip fire isn't there until it comes up later on in the animation. So all you do is go ahead and line that up. You look at that. You do that for all the specific weapons. And you can see right here, takes 217 milliseconds to lower the weapon when it comes to the FFAR. We go over here. It takes 617 to raise the weapon. The total animation is, if we go from beginning to end, is 6 seconds, 440 milliseconds. And then if we want to just get the actual time it takes to plate, right around 5 seconds, 5.5-ish seconds, 5.6 seconds there. And you go ahead and do this for all of these specific examples when you're swapping weapons. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the results. So pretty much here's what we have on the screen. We can see that the weapon swap times and a lot of the stuff ended up being very close, almost identical to what Exclusive Ace had. There was some slight frame rounding. So in some scenarios it'd be plus 1 frame or minus 1 frame, but they're pretty comparable when we go through it. So you can kind of see the drop for each of these weapons. The Car 98 actually swaps faster than the Stoner. Obviously it's a sniper rifle. Stoner's supposed to be slow. MAC-10 does lower pretty quickly, and it raises slower. And you notice a trend in pretty much all of them. The raise of the weapon is significantly slower than it is when the weapon drops. And this is without amped. When we get amped involved, you can see that it drops significantly. It almost took a half second off, or it took exactly a half second off. And then we have a similar scenario, and you can kind of see that of these numbers, what it comes out to be is plating from 0 plates up to that little animation where the plates start and the plates finish is right 5.6 seconds. They're off by about 1 frame here or there. But we look at the difference is on the FFAR, you get a more noticeable difference than with the MAC. Obviously the MAC is already faster, so it's kind of hard to have a significant improvement. The Car 98 has a huge difference it actually takes it down to 150 milliseconds when you're actually doing that. So you can see that was a huge, like 400% improvement in terms of speed. And then we look at the raise difference. We're talking about less of a difference when it comes to the raise. The overall net with plates, it saves you about 11%, 10%, 16% for some of the slower weapons. One thing I will point out though, is they did manage to fix the stoner drop. It doesn't do it in that one frame instance that we saw in Exclusive Aces video. They went and addressed that. So I would imagine they went through and tuned some of these numbers. So depending on what weapon you're using, it may or may not. These are only 4 weapons that I was able to compare it to, because it's not like this is something that anyone tested, whether it was True Game Data, Exclusive Ace, Drifter, whoever else wants to test weapons. No one tested the drop and raise speed of every individual weapon. So I'm sure they made some fine tuning. It didn't actually impact the plate timing, but the overall time may have changed in certain cases where they actually impacted the raise and lower times, because they did make changes to the stoner, essentially fixing a bug with its plate animation or its weapon drop animation. So obviously if you factor that into the equation, they might have done some other stealth changes and never mentioned it. But as of right now, all the other numbers besides the stoner were essentially the same. So unless they stealth change certain values, it's pretty much the same as it's been for at least the past 4 months. So maybe not the answer some of you guys wanted to hear, but it is the truth. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, learned something new. If you did, please do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're brand new and want to find your way back, double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.